Okay guys, I promised a video on land navigation and how to use a compass and a map a little while ago, and kind of been working on it here and there, but here we go. I'm going to show you how to use a compass. I'm going to try to do it in under 10 minutes. And it's pretty easy. There's a lot of facets to it that you can learn later on. I'll have a lot more videos posted. This is just basic land navigation using a compass and a map. On your map, you're going to have all these brown lines. Every single one of these brown lines are changes in elevation. The tighter the brown lines are together, the steeper the mountain is, the steeper the path is going to be. On my map here on the bottom, there's a key. From here to here is 1 mile. And the contour line interval is 40 feet. That means between every single brown line, it's 40-foot difference in elevation. When you look at most of these mountains, or some of the higher mountains anyway, the lines are very tight. These are like canyons that are almost impossible to climb. You know, 200, 300 feet canyons. So you want to stay away from these areas in the map, and they don't have like red zones, or they don't tell you what's the roughest climb, the roughest terrain. You just have to know what you're looking at. And on this map, the contour interval, or the contour lines, are 40 feet apart. Some keys are different. Some keys are much higher than 40. But I use a 1 in 24,000 map, so my key here is going to be 40 feet per brown contour line. Also on the map, you're going to notice these squares. These squares, these quadrants here, have a dotted line that jots from top to bottom. That's north and south. The ones going east to west are the right to left lines there. So we know longitude and latitude because these lines that are printed on the map. And on my little makeshift map here, I only put one line here because that's all I'm going to use for now to show you as an example. On this little map here, what I did is I did a base camp, destination route to the X, and then we're going to come back. This is just a straight A to B, point of line, point of sight, whatever, trip on this little makeshift map. One thing on a compass you need to learn is that anything that's magnetized, watch batteries, cell phones, knives especially, anything that's magnetized will make this needle jump. So if you have a knife close by, or a metal lanyard or something like that on your compass, it's a very bad idea because your needle will jump and it'll give you the wrong bearing. So with that being said, let's start over here on our map. We have a starting point, the S in base camp. We have a destination. This is our point of travel that we're going to take. First thing we're going to do here is orient our compass to our map. On our regular map, what you do is you'd get your compass and you'd line it up with these dotted lines, and you'd spin the bezel so north is directly up, and then you'd spin your map until north lined up north. On all maps, the very top of the map where the printed name is going to be the north direction. So on my map I did the same thing. The very top is the north direction. Here is my intersecting line, my meridian line, we're going to call it, north to south. And these are our interval lines at 40 feet. The steeper the lines, the harder the climb. This is a 300-foot mountain or so. This would be almost impossible. You'd need rappelling gear to get through some of these areas. So if you find yourself wandering up this hill and you get here and it's a sheer cliff, you're going to have to work all your way around and hopefully find your way. Especially if it's dark, hopefully find your way. So, basics of using a map. Pretend this piece of wood here with the writing on it is a paper map, like that one there. What we're going to do is, on our paper map, we are going to line up our compass straight up and down in the center with this north and south line, the dotted lines that are all over your map that travel from the top of the map to the bottom, north and south. So the north and south lined up. Now we're going to put our pointer north and the N on the top of the compass up in the north position, perfectly squared and centered. So now the map, the compass, excuse me, the pointer's at north and the bezel has been spun so north is facing straight up. With this now we're going to orient our map, which means we're going to take our map, and we're going to spin it right, spin it left, until we get this oriented where north, that northern line, is lined up directly with the north arrow. So, now what we'll do here is, get this out of the way, we're going to spin our map until the arrow is pointed north. There we go. Now our map is oriented, so north is straight up. The map is in the right direction. If I was at a high enough level in the forest looking at my view here, and I was sitting here, I can look off to the northeast direction and I should see a big hill, which would be that one, with a smaller hill on the left. You have a lot of forest and trees in here. Sometimes when you get down in the forest, in this area here, you won't be able to see any of these hills, so you'll lose your direction unless you know that your map is oriented right and you're traveling the right path. So now with my map oriented, my compass oriented to my map, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at my base camp, line up my lines, pointing the arrow of the compass directly towards my destination, which is the X, and then go to your bezel here and spin the north so it's on north, not touching the map. You don't want to mess with the map. The compass now is pointing north, the N is writing over north, and my destination arrow is telling me in the very top of the compass here what the degree of travel is. That degree of travel is almost 40, so I'm saying 38 degrees. It's between the north and the east, so it's 38 degrees northeast. That's going to be my rate of travel. Right now with a set like this, if I look at the very back of the compass, it's almost 220, so it's 218 degrees. My travel back will be 218 degrees on my return trip. You really need to jot these numbers down because, especially if you get lost out in the wilderness, you will forget, guaranteed. Another way to do it is a math method. 38 degrees is my destination. If that number is below 180, you add 180 to it. 38 degrees plus 180, because 38 is below that number. Add 180, it's 218. So 38 there, 218 back. If your number here was above 180, let's say it was 200 degrees, then you take the 200 degrees and you subtract 180, which would be 20 degrees in the opposite direction. Anyway guys, the map will tell you the contour interval, and the contour interval is always a difference in elevation, and 99.9% of the time it's an increase of elevation, which makes it extremely hard. And even if it's a decrease of elevation, which should have different lines on it, it's extremely hard to traverse these trails unless you take the path of least resistance. I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please ask, and I'll do more informative videos explaining thoroughly the map, the keys, how to find your direction, and all kinds of other stuff. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope this helped out.